Hi everybody, this is Mrs. Ellsworth, and today what we're strictly going to be talking about is adding integers. Whether they're negatives or positives or both signs, different signs, we're going to be talking about those, and I've got some surefire ways to help you figure things out. If you struggled with it before, you're going to be amazed how well you can think in 7th grade, and so you're going to be amazed at how well that you can process these things, and it's going to be a lot better. So let's get started. When I look at these 4 different scenarios, what do you see that's different? What I'm hoping that you'll notice is that you've got 2 negatives and you get a negative answer. 2 positives, you get a positive answer. Now we've got different signs. So now we're going to have to do something different than just adding them together. We're going to have to do some subtracting actually and figuring out which one, whether it's negative or positive. So in this case right here, you're going to have to do some subtracting and then figure out whether it's negative or positive. So we can do that. Let's go ahead and get started. So if I go and look at this one right here, this right here is adding integers with the same sign. We've already talked about for years. You've talked about adding positives together, and so you get that. Probably the biggest problem that we've got with those is having correct facts. So you need to double check your work and think about it. The two negatives, you've been doing that too, but not for as long. And so what we have to recognize is that we've got a negative plus a negative, and we're going to get a bigger negative. A positive plus a positive, we're going to get a bigger positive. And so you should always think of it whenever you're doing the same signs, you should always think of it as whenever I add them together, I'm going to get a bigger one of the same exact thing. So I've got a negative 3 plus a negative 4, and you're going to get a negative 7. I've got a negative 6 plus a negative 14. I add them together, that's 20, keep the same sign. So it's going to be negative 20. Did you hear what I said? I add them together when they're the same sign, and then I keep that same sign. Okay, here we go again. I've got negative 7 plus a negative 2. Okay, so think of, you could think of 7 negatives plus 2 more negatives, and you're going to get a negative 9. So I did those 3 with 3 different types of methods that I've seen students use, and I've used myself. Okay. Now this one right here is taking a negative plus a positive. So oopsie, sorry. Anyway, so what we've got here is we've got positive 6, right? Start from 0. You always start from 0. Okay, we're going to add a negative 2. Okay, and then what do you do after that? You're going to get a positive 4. So what you need to think of is where are you at on the number line and how far do you go back? Notice here it says adding integers with different signs. Subtract their absolute value. So just look at 6 minus 2. Okay, subtract their absolute value. So 6 minus 2 would be 4. Okay, and then what do you have to worry about it? You have to worry about which one is bigger. So this absolute value is bigger, so this is going to be your sign. Okay, look at this one. Here you've got a negative 5. Oh, goodness. A negative 5 plus 4. Okay, and so you're going to subtract these two, and you get 1. Which absolute value here's got the biggest number? And that would be your negative, so it's going to be negative 1. Okay, I got another way of looking at it too. This is a system that you learned last year, and so there's another way of looking at it too. Okay, so in this case right here, you've got 9 positives, okay, and you've got 4 negatives. So be thinking in your mind, okay, I'm going to take 4 away from this one, 4 away from that one, what have I got left? Well, if I take 4 away from the 4, I've got 0 of that one left, take 4 away from this one, and I've actually got 5 positives left. It's just one way of looking at it. Okay, take 4 away from this one, 4 away from that one. I've got 0 left here, but I've got 5 left over here. So that's a great way of looking at it. Here's another one. Now we've got a different sign. Okay, we've got 9 negatives over here and 4 positives. We're going to take the smaller number. We're going to take, because you can't take 9 away from this one. So we're going to take 4 of these away. Oopsie. Take 4 of these ones away. What have you got left? You've got those 5 negatives left. Just look at that one more time. You know, when you look at this, you know that your answer is going to be positive because you had so many more positives there. So that's still really using this definition of it. When you look at this problem, you know that there are so many more negatives than that one. So many more, so that you know your answer is going to be negative. So just look at it that way, which one is the bigger value without their signs, and that's definitely going to have the same sign. Okay, so let's look at some examples. Okay, I've got a negative 20. Let me get a pen. I got a negative 20 plus 4. So I'm going to take 4 away from here and 4 away from this one. So I'm going to have a negative 16. Now look at it from that rule up there before. You take and subtract them, 16, take the sign of the largest. Okay, here we go again. We've got 16 positives and 5 negatives, so we've got a lot more positives. So my answer is going to be positive, but you don't have to write positive, but I'm going to for this sake. Okay, and I'm going to subtract them, and I get 11. Think about that. Take away 5 negatives, take away 5 of these. What have I got left? I've got 11 left. Okay, so let's go ahead and practice some of these. Oh wait, I've got one more property, and so we'll look at this one. It's talking about adding the opposites. So if you take a 2 and a negative 2, you add it together, you get a 0. And that's one of our properties, and it happens every time. Okay, so you can look at like this one right here. Okay, we've got a negative 7 and a positive 7. Go and switch it around so they're together, or else cancel them out in your mind so they're gone. Okay, and then what have you got left? Just the 14. Positive 14 would be your answer. Okay, let's look at 11 here. Oh, let me push something over here. Okay, let's look at number 11. Okay, number 11, we've got that you've got a negative 6 plus a negative 14. Okay, and so they're two negatives, so you just add a negative to a negative, you get a bigger negative. So we're going to have a negative 20. Okay, rewind these if you need to and listen to them again. Go right ahead. Okay, 16. Okay, we've got a negative 25 plus a negative 4. Okay, negative plus a negative makes a bigger negative. So we're going to have a negative 29. Okay, number 20. You've got a negative 11 plus a negative 5. Again, a negative plus a negative makes a bigger negative. Okay. Maybe we should look at a couple of them that are two different signs. Okay. So let me get an eraser here. Okay, and get a pen again. And so let's look at 19. 19 has got a positive 12 plus a negative 16. Okay, if I think about those chips, I'm thinking like, okay, I'm going to take 12 of these away, then I'll take 12 of these away, and I'm going to get 4 left over of those. So my answer would be negative 4. Look at those other rules. The book goes by these rules. When you got two different signs, you subtract them. That's 4. Then you take the sign of the largest absolute value, or the largest, just the number there, not the value of the negative. So it'd be negative. Okay, again, take the difference, sign of the largest. Okay. So I'll do one more of those. I'll do 18. Okay, so 18, you've got 8 plus a negative 13. Okay, and so I'm going to take 8 of these ones away and 8 of these ones away. So those are gone, and I'll have negative 5 left over. So if you did it by the rules, you'd say, what's the difference between 13 and 8? 5. Take the sign of the largest, negative. Okay, so sometimes you have word problems here too, and I just wanted to point this out. Write and solve addition equation. So you got to write it out as an addition one, not something minus another. That's subtraction. And then figure out the sum. Okay, so a contestant has negative 1,500 points, and then he loses another 1,250 points. 1,250 points. Loses means it's going to be a negative value, doesn't it? What's his new score? Well, here's our equation. You're supposed to write out an equation. It's an addition equation, so we do. We just got two negatives. So it's negative 1,500, negative 1,250. So you just got to finish it because the negative plus a negative makes a bigger negative. Okay, then looking at one more down here, these are adding more numbers. And so this is 7 plus a negative 6 plus 4 plus a negative 6. So what I like to do is I like to go and combine either in my head or else like I'm going to do now. And I like to combine the positives, okay, and then combine the negatives. So I know that the positive 7 and a positive 4, that's a positive 11. The negative 6 plus a negative 6 makes another bigger negative 12. And so now I just go and add these two up. So that's a positive 11, plus a negative 12. So what is that answer going to be? Well, I'll go ahead and subtract 11, subtract 11. I got one more of these left over. So it's going to be a negative 1. Okay, all that work used to figure out number 29. So tomorrow we'll get our assignment and I'll check your notes first to see how well you took notes on things, okay? I'm going to be looking for some key points in there, so good job. And if you need to go back over and check anything, please go rewind and check on the ones you need to. See you tomorrow.